I don't get it. That's why I reached out to Trump. I wanted to just say, listen, I'm really sorry that this is going on and it's being dealt with this way. Not because I'm in favor of his politics or what he says. I criticize him all the time. That's my job, and he deserves it. But he doesn't deserve this. A guy pointing an AK-47 at him while he's playing golf? And we take solace in the fact that the guy didn't get any rounds off. If I had been through what that guy's been through in the last 2 months, you would not know where I am. You would never see me on TV again. No way I would do that. I don't know how he does it. He's got kids, they're adults, but he's got grandkids. He's got a wife. People giving crap to Melania Trump, worrying about whether or not there was a plot around his husband. How could she not? People mock her. And then her husband has a guy pointed with an AK-47. Where are those people apologizing? That's what it's time for. We are playing a dangerous game with ourselves. He is not a despot in waiting. Okay? I don't buy it. You gotta care when somebody tries to kill somebody. I've told you this before, and I've learned the lesson so many times myself around the world. Either you care when anyone is hurt, or you'll never really care about anyone being hurt.
Chris Cuomo gives an impassioned apology to Trump. He may not be on our side yet, but he sure looks like he's on his way. And he's not alone. We got the first post-assassination attempt polling that just dropped, and it's an absolute stunner. We're going to take a look at the numbers, and we're going to see how this poll fits with a number of other polls that are all showing a major Trump surge, both nationally and in the battleground states. And I'm even going to show you how to make sense of all the ridiculous pro-Kamala puff polls that the legacy media is desperately trying to convince us of. Hey, gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, your Patriot Professor, here to help you stay sane in these insane times. So make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. We are going to dive right in here, but first I do want to give a quick shout out to the sponsor of this video, and that's the makers of Liver Health Formula. Now, if you're one of the 100 million Americans struggling with all the weight gain and loss of energy that comes with a fatty liver, gang, this is an absolutely awesome solution. Liver Health Formula is an all-natural supplement. It contains 12 clinically proven botanicals that help recharge and protect your liver. It's manufactured right here in the USA. It's approved by independent American doctors. And if you click on that link below right now, you can try Liver Health Formula and receive a free bottle of blood sugar formula when you order today. So don't let a fatty liver keep you sluggish and inactive. Again, gang, if you're a regular to this channel, you know I myself recently lost over 60 pounds, and I could say it was one of the best decisions I ever made. And now it is your turn. Click on that link below or go to getliverhelp.com/Turley and claim your free bonus gift. That's getliverhelp.com/Turley. All right, we got the first post-assassination attempt poll out. This, of course, is the first poll that's dropping within just a couple of days out from the second assassination attempt against the life of President Trump on Sunday, and it's a stunner. Rasmussen's daily tracking poll now has Trump up 6 points nationally. Trump is up 6 in Rasmussen's first post-assassination attempt polling. It's obviously a massive surge, and ironically, it's not an outlier. And that's because this Rasmussen poll actually comes on the heels of a poll that we featured in yesterday's video from the single most accurate pollster of 2020, Atlas Intel. They came within 0.2 points of calling the 2020 election. They had Biden winning by 4.7% of the vote. He actually got 4.5. Atlas Intel just dropped their first post-debate poll. So this is a few days prior to the assassination attempt. It was taken on Wednesday and Thursday after the debate. And it showed that Trump had a national lead of 3 points over Harris. That's head-to-head. With the full lineup, his lead grew to 4 points. So now we got two back-to-back polls, one just before the assassination attempt and one literally a day afterwards that showed Trump within a 3 to 6 point lead nationally over Cackle's Kamala. So then you might be asking, what do we do with all of these puff polls that the legacy media is bombarding us with, all showing Kamala beating Trump? Well, there again, ironically, we could see the same pattern. You see, this is the key to staying sane in these insane times, okay? Here's an excellent breakdown of how to interpret all these puff polls. So if we do an apples-to-apples comparison here, if we look at these polls today in light of what these same polls were saying back in 2020, we see a very, very interesting pattern emerge. So, for example, in Pennsylvania, Suffolk gave Biden at this time in the election, September of 2020, Suffolk gave Biden a +8 lead, whereas today they're only giving Harris a +3 lead. Now, that's a swing of 5 points to Trump between 2020 and today. That's in the state of Pennsylvania. If we look at the Des Moines Register poll that just dropped in Iowa back in 2020, the Des Moines Register said that Trump and Biden were tied. They were even in Iowa, tied in a state that Trump went on to win by 7 points. They were never tied, but nevertheless, that's what they had in September. But now you'll notice it's Trump up by 4, which means he'll most likely go on to win Iowa by at least 11 points. Atlas Intel, as we noted, the single most accurate pollster of 2020, they had Biden up 4.7 in their national poll. He ended up winning by 4.5. They now have Trump up 2.9 nationally, so that's a near 8-point swing to Trump. And then you look at the aggregates, the polling averages, both nationally and of all the states, and we're just look inside the brackets to the right of the numbers there. What you'll see in every single bracket is that there's a 4 to 6 point swing to Trump in every single one. I'll say that again. In all the national polling averages, right? These are the aggregates there of all the polls out there. There is a 4 to 6 point swing to Trump in every single one of them. This is what you have to get in terms of keeping your sanity in the midst of all of this polling insanity that the lying legacy media is bombarding you with. We could take all of those puff polls, every one of them, all of them together, each one of them singularly, and they all still show a swing to Trump of 4 to 6 points. In other words, Trump is doing 4 to 6 points better in the polling than he did in an election that came down to 40,000 votes. And 4 to 6 points better is a lot more than 40,000 votes. That's like 4 to 6 million. And along with this, more and more reports are coming out on how utterly brutal that NAACP poll was that dropped yesterday that we reported on, how brutal it is for Kamala. The poll found that 26% of black men under the age of 50, 26% are voting Trump. 49%, not even a majority, are voting for Harris. Harris doesn't even break 50% with black men under the age of 50. I mean, this is pure devastation if you're a Democrat. When a record number, 26% of black men under the age of 50 are voting for the Republican, these are numbers we haven't seen in a half a century since Richard Nixon. However, and I'm not sure this surprises you given that what we saw with that ABC ambush, but you would never have known that if you were reading the Hill piece on this very same poll. Look at this trash. Look at it. Blacks are more excited to vote in 2024 than they were in 2008. When Obama won a historic victory. Gang, that is patent nonsense. Patent. Now, we have vote-by-mail request numbers already in from North Carolina. In real time, right now as we speak, from North Carolina. You know, the state that Obama won in 2008. He won North Carolina in 2008. We have the vote-by-mail request numbers. The black vote is down to a low of 11%. They were 16% in 2020 in North Carolina. The vote by mail electorate in 2024 is turning out to be much more white and much more Republican than it was in 2020. And then to add insult to injury, as the NAACP poll shows, more blacks are voting for Trump than ever before, upwards of 20%. The propaganda shills at the Hill are actually trying to spin that, Pyongyang style, as a victory for Kamala Harris. I mean, their propaganda knows no ends. Now, along these same lines, take a look at the latest polling coming out of the key swing state of Pennsylvania. This is very, very good for Trump. Insider Advantage has Trump up by 2 among likely voters. That's a gain of a point for Trump since their last poll a few weeks back. So Trump has actually gained a point since the debate. Oh, and by the way, I do have to say, speaking of, more and more pundits are finally waking up to the fact that Trump won that debate, that ambush. It wasn't even a debate. It was an ambush. Just like we said he did Wednesday morning. Hugh Hewitt of the old Republican Guard, hardly a fan of Trump. Well, or better, he was a one-time major Trump skeptic. But just 6 days ago, he was tweeting out that Trump lost that debate. What a disappointment. Take a listen to what he is saying now.
Upon further review, the officials in the booth, which includes me, have reversed the call on the field, which included mine, on immediately after the debate that Trump may have lost that. No, I don't think so. I think the weaponization of the media, like the weaponization of the Department of Justice, has blown back against the Democrats. And by next week, you'll see Trump's lead get larger.
Welcome to the party, pal. The call on the field is reversed. Precisely because the call was being made by members of the same elite regime that fabricated that debate in the first place. The commentary following the ambush was every bit as contrived and faked and artificially manufactured as the debate. You see, this is... I don't want to get too far afield here, but this is the difference between the modern day influencer, like yours truly, the new independent news commentators, and the old guard like Hugh Hewitt. I mean, God bless them, but the old guard still thinks it's 1991. They still think the Soviet Union's around. They still think the New York Times matters, or that CNN matters, or that ABC matters. They still unconsciously assume that network, cable, and establishment media exercise inordinate influence over popular opinion. Those days are over. We're in the network society today. They were very influential during the period known as mass society. But we are in a network society where everybody is radically hyper-connected into instantly accessed digital information that bypasses the legacy media. That's what we're doing right now. These days, those days are over. And we could see it. We could see it again in real time. It's because the establishment no longer talks to the people. It talks solely to itself. ABC, NBC, CNN, they are the very definition of an echo chamber. They talk to themselves, and then they broadcast that conversation abroad, but less and less people tolerate listening to it anymore. The questions that were asked at that debate, forget the ambush itself, even Meghan McCain pointed this out. Freaking Meghan McCain pointed out that the very questions that were asked last week were the epitome of Manhattanite socialite conversation. They had nothing to do with the pains and the struggles and the concerns of the vast majority of Americans, particularly rural folk, working class voters, who, by the way, are the ones who are going to end up deciding this election. It's the working class voter, both in white and non-white, both white and non-white, in states like Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, and Iowa, and Ohio, and Arizona, and Georgia. They're the ones who are going to ultimately decide this election. And they were obviously livid over that debate. It wasn't just the ambush. It was the blatant display of complete and total indifference by the cosmopolitan class to the concerns and pains of the vast majority of the country. And the only person on that stage that repeatedly addressed those concerns, the concerns of the economy, of jobs, of inflation, border, was one Donald J. Trump. So welcome to the party, Hugh. Great to have you. All right, sorry, I digress. Let's get back to Pennsylvania here, these numbers. Now, even the ridiculous Suffolk poll that gave Harris an utterly outrageous 9-point lead in Pennsylvania before the debate. Even they're showing that she's crashing and burning now to just a 3-point lead. Oh, interestingly, post-debate. Again, make no mistake. She is not leading the Keystone State right now. But even these response bias polls are showing a significant decline in support after that debate debacle. In fact, Trump is back in the lead with the RCP polling average, even with all the puff polls factored in for Pennsylvania. Trump still leads Harris in the polling aggregate. And so bringing this full circle, if the Rasmussen post-assassination poll is any indicator, Trump indeed is only going to get stronger as we approach October, which means Kamala and the Democrats are only going to get more desperate.